Oh, hello. This is the Brain Software Podcast, episode 241, emanating from the Hypnotic World Epicenter, Toronto, Canada. And it's the only podcast that claims to be about hypnosis, but is actually just an excuse for us to have ridiculous fun. But we admit it, so it's okay. And in this episode, we have a secret guest, and we'll be talking all about calibration, how it applies in conversational hypnosis, and are only some people hypnotizable?
Disclaimer. We refuse not to take responsibility for the things that we haven't even not yet said, despite your obvious concerns that it isn't even inappropriate for the intended audience. Loochie.
We're going to jump straight into content today because we're busy and we're pretending to value your time and ours. So let me welcome to the Hypnotic Octagon, the man who still claims to have a 162 IQ. The man who may have recently disenfranchised himself sitting in that chair.
Attempting to.
And the Keith Richards of hypnosis, ladies and gentlemen, Mike Mandel. All right, let's do it.
It's going to be interesting.
So it's Friday. It is the Friday before the Monday that we start the Architecture of Hypnosis. By the time this gets released, obviously that class will be long over and we'll have celebrated off and it'll be ridiculous fun. And we'll have all these new friends and it's amazing. We said we have a secret guest. We do. It's Timothy September, who is our head of coaching at Mike Mandel Hypnosis, the creator of Enter the Loop, the world's finest conversational hypnosis training. It's freaking awesome. He's behind the camera, in case you guys are wondering. And he's the co-founder of Pycthos, along with me and our head of indifference, Mike Mandel. So I'm just going to have Timothy take my spot. Here we go.
Okay, Timothy, we're going to go right to the think tank words. And these were generated, amazingly, not through the Sava Bukacek think tank, but how?
Through ChatGPT.
All right.
We told it to give us 3 random nouns.
And it did.
Nouns. All right.
So the first one is, I'll give the 3, then let's unpack them
Yeah.
in the context of what we're doing. First one is lamp. The second one is sailboat. And the third one, notwithstanding, is pineapple. Ooh. If that's not got you going, nothing's going to. So let's unpack these. What does lamp say to you about hypnosis and what we're doing?
Lamp is like a brightening. It's finally illuminating the dark, like the unconscious.
Oh, interesting. Illuminating the dark of the unconscious, enabling us then to see what we couldn't typically see, to broaden our horizons, whereupon the sailboat can drift off, just sailing takes me away to where I'm going. Sailboat.
Yeah.
I'm sailing away. That's right.
Yeah, it's like direction, too. That's a great one. Like you're moving in the right direction.
What did you say?
Direction.
Oh, direction.
Direction.
Although that was a rather reference.
Inappropriate.
Take all your money and put it in the 6th race. So look, here we go. And the third one is pineapple. The third one, let's repeat that, is pineapple. Now, it is my understanding, not knowing anything about that community whatsoever, not saying anything wrong with it, that there is the pineapplic symbol for people who are engaged in some sort of tete-a-tete, but beyond that, bopping in the beater. And the symbol of the pineapple is used to bring disclosure, to shed light on it, so perhaps you and the person you were disclosing with could disclothe as well, and might wind up on a sailboat somewhere, and then who knows?
And then you got to laugh.
Okay, I'm on today.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Anything you want to add to the equation?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I was thinking, pineapple is definitely not a subject you want to try hypnotizing. It just doesn't work. Not all pineapples.
The same,
right,
this damn same. That's the thing. Why eggs don't make good pets, but cats do.
Yeah.
Eggs make terrible pets because you can never get them to come in at night.
Yeah, that's
so. Conversational hypnosis. Timothy September. What the heck is it? Well,
right. Yeah. Conversational hypnosis. I really think it is the missing part that a lot of people have when it comes to doing their sessions, or even just in everyday life, they don't realize hypnosis is happening all the time.
Right.
And so the misconception is that often hypnotists think, okay, I do the intake, right? And then at some point, I'm going to start the hypnosis. And they just think, oh, I just need to ask some questions to get enough information. But the reality is it's happening all the time.
All the time. In fact, I would even say that the conversational hypnosis is beginning even when someone contacts a hypnotist and is attempting to discern whether or not they can even help them with their issue at hand, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Are you hypnotizing us now?
Oh, maybe.
That's
yeah,
excellent.
I mean, no, but in reality, though, everything from marketing, advertising, that's all hypnosis, too. It just happens to be in the form of something you would read online.
Right. So we're differentiating between conversational, which is very informal hypnosis. It's indistinguishable from natural conversation much of the time. But it is a far cry from the ritualistic hypnosis that is typically done to put someone into a trance. And I know our friend and colleague James Tripp would completely agree, as with the Jacquins, that people are going in and out of hypnosis without the ritual, but some people require the ritual to give it a starting point and an ending that is bracketed by this thing that we call trance.
Yes, yeah. The reality of that, too, is the external trance indicators, right, of the ritualistic, like the formal hypnosis, that actually happens even during conversation, but a lot of people miss it. I mean, really, though, think about this. The last time that you were daydreaming or maybe lost in a monotonous task, right? When we're doing that, we're in trance. But most people don't think about that being trance, right? Right.
That's absolutely true, because I can look at my own life. What is monotonous for me that I don't really enjoy doing is washing dishes. Now, we have a dishwasher, but sometimes there's too many, or you could do pots and pans. And I'll just sort of, get the gloves on and the warm water and sort of zone out, and then it's done. And I'm trancing out for sure when I'm washing dishes. Yeah.
Right. And I think that it's important for everyone to know that there are what we would consider conversational trance indicators as well as external trance indicators. So conversational trance indicators, when you're doing the intake, right? We need to listen for very specific things, right? Like important listening points. If somebody is talking about nominalizations or they're...
Let's clarify what they are for our audience.
Yes. So
Nominalizations.
Yes.
Nominalizations, pronouncing every letter. Just if you pronounce, bopping in the beater, sounds funnier than bopping in the beater. It is the specificity of it. But nominalization, a noun you cannot put in a wheelbarrow, whether or not you're going to do anything with it.
Right.
The bottom line is, this is happening, though. It's people are processing these things.
They are. And especially during the intake, when they're actually discussing their problem, you can see them going in and out of trance as they discuss the problem.
Well, I've seen you do this, and it's really opened my eyes to a whole other aspect of things. Timothy will be talking to someone. I've seen you do this, and somebody will... And then you say, where did you just go?
Yes.
And because you're getting key information. Something you said triggered some memory or whatever.
Right. And
put them in the trance or even partially regress them to that moment.
Yes. And that's actually some of the things that like Stephen Walensky talks about. And even Milton H. Erickson and Ernest Rossi discuss it in Hypnotic Realities, the everyday trance, but what comes with it. So you have not only the discussion of the metaphor, but as they're discussing it, you might notice them slowing down. Maybe their speech or their blink reflex completely stops.
The first one I thought of,
Yeah. And if you're not watching, if you're not calibrating, you're missing everything. That's why I stopped taking notes. But for years, I just don't take notes.
I thought you were going to say drugs first.
Yes.
Stop taking notes.
Yes.
Start in order to stop.
That's right.
Yeah.
But I mean, you actually were the one that got me to stop taking notes because you were you were like, buddy, your head's in your notebook too much.
I didn't say that to you, but I've said that to a lot of people because in my early days when I was doing therapy in the early 90s, I used to, my notes all the time, and I realized I was missing so many signals that the person was giving off.
Yep. Giving off. Wow. That's
whoa. Back to pineapple
and sailboats. Here we are.
And sailboat. Yeah. Well, we've lost that thread.
Yes.
Where did we just go?
So,
where did I just go in my head?
I have no clue. He's in trance. Woo.
So, we know the obvious external trance indicators. Increased lower lip size, breathing shifts, facial flushing, hypnotic rash, blink reflex changes. All of these things, but. What about the conversational trance indicators you just referred to? Are they the same or are they different?
I like to think that they are the same, only because of the fact that when we're doing formal hypnosis, typically the person's not talking. So we're still calibrating and we're noticing changes. But during conversation, we're doing the exact same thing. We're calibrating and noticing changes. That's it. Calibration is just finding the baseline and then what's different, noticing the pattern.
And I would think, based on what you said, because they're not speaking, in a formalized trance. You've got somebody in a somnambulistic trance, whatever that is, so don't
Right.
write to us because we don't read them anyway. But you have somebody in a formalized trance. Obviously, the external trance indicators are going to be on the surface and very easy to see. Conversational hypnotic trance indicators are perhaps the same ones, but maybe a little more subtle.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yes, exactly.
Yes. I like to also think that because it's conversation, well, even though they're subtle, we can find them by listening for the important listening points. And the important listening points, you're probably already doing it, right? Like looking for the present state, like what's the problem now, and their target state, what would they rather have? But then what else? Well, we mentioned nominalizations, unspecified verbs, and even metaphors. When a person starts to discuss what those are to them, like let's say, for example, we had a client who said, well, I don't really like my picture being taken online, right? She hates her photo. And I said, well, what exactly is it about that? And she said, well, I just don't like it. It makes me feel uncomfortable.
Oh, I remember this one.
Yeah. So I said, oh, uncomfortable. What does that have to do with your picture? And she said, I look like my mother. Right.
Fusiform gyrus activated.
Right.
Alert.
And now, if I was just doing the traditional, okay, I got the intake, now I'm going to do hypnosis, I would have missed that. I would have done something to help her feel more confident in front of the camera or something like that.
Right. And then it becomes top-down therapy where we're imposing our model of the
Right.
world rather than taking what the client is giving us and
Yes.
using that. When you said about, the intake, I was reading some of David Cheek and Dabney Ewan yesterday, and I think Ewan was referencing Dr. David Cheek, but he pointed out that when you ask the client, tell me about your problem. Now, that's very interesting. What is your problem?
Right.
And they start to unpack it. He lets them go. And then he says, anything else? And he said, that thing they say when he says anything else will be the real thing.
Yes.
Waiting for that. Let them unpack all the baggage around it first.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with that.
Now, what are the important listening points?
Yeah. So we did discuss resources. If somebody is talking about their problem and suddenly they say the phrase of, oh, I don't know why I'm telling you this, but, or if you notice them abreacting,
Yes.
like maybe they laugh and they say, what?
No,
Oh,
go ahead.
okay.
Mike,
Jeez.
talk into your microphone. Please.
I'm right now, yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
it's hard because he's just way over there.
way over there.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So if we're discussing, let's say, for example, like the resource, they go, oh, well, I don't know why I'm telling you this. And they tell you a story.
Yeah.
There is going to be a reason behind that. And that's the unconscious mind communicating. Like one of the other things that I've had the recent pleasure of experiencing was one of the students from AOH, I'm not going to give any names, him and I started doing some work together because he had some issues. So I noticed a theme. Now, the theme that he kept using was the same metaphor, but discussed different ways. And the metaphor was around trains. So the main problem was he said, well, my brother and I, we keep having these arguments, and I'm now doing the same thing. I'm arguing with my son in the same way I did with my brother. So we started unpacking this a little bit, come to find out that he had to take care of his brother at a young age and didn't know how to be a parent. So the way that he started discussing his brother and even his son was they're going off the rails. They're not on the right path. Like they're not staying, they're not staying on track. And then he said the one thing that just blew it all open. And he said, I noticed a train wreck. And I said, what is that? Whereabouts is the train wreck? And he said, the train wreck is me. And just abreacted, just lost it. And then he told me the next day, that night he went and had a conversation with his brother and instantly repaired it. They both cried over, like at dinner. They repaired their relationship and things are now much better than they were.
Wow.
All of that from a single conversation. I could have had coffee with this client just at lunch and end up helping them with their problem. And it didn't require hypnosis, whatever that is.
It's really interesting because, and I'm going to let Chris jump in because I can tell he's champing at the bit here. But, and I'll respond by throwing in the usual hilarious comments and criticisms of what you guys are doing with your microphones. But interestingly, this is interesting to me because it's the natural flow of the process that is conversational, but you are redirecting the person's attention to certain areas. And as you're doing that, it's causing state changes and all sorts of integration. That's phenomenal.
Yeah.
I'm going to end with that comment because I said it so well. I'm now going to get my cup of coffee and go over there. Chris Thompson's coming in, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We are back. All right. So we're going to talk about communication and calibration in not a client setting, but maybe like a business setting. So yeah, where do you want to go with this?
Oh man, I love the idea of just communication in general, because hypnosis is.
What do you mean by that?
Yeah, like anything hypnosis, it's just a different way of communicating, and so if you understand the principles of hypnosis and even conversation and how we're in this psychodynamic loop and we're flowing back and forth, that it doesn't just apply to clients, as you said. It also applies to like business negotiation.
Yeah, I think it really does. In fact, last night when we were chit-chatting, might have had a little bit of whiskey. It was fun.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit. But we were talking about how people get stuck in these weird, what did I call it? I wrote it down. The it's broken trance.
Yeah.
So obviously running a business, we'll often get emails from people, which we now forward to support. But the problems we usually be stuff like, it's not working.
Not working.
I can't log in.
Yeah.
It's not letting me. That kind of thing.
It's broken.
And you think, like in a normal context, if you were with that person, you'd probably say something like
it's not interesting.
Yeah, it's not interesting. Tell me more about that.
Yeah.
Or show me what you mean.
Yes.
Can you expand on this? You'd be back and forth real time. And you'd get to the issue really quickly. But I think that people, when they get frustrated with something that isn't doing what they expect, and this isn't just true in customer service situations, it's anything in life. People get into this tunnel of, it's broken, it's not working.
Right.
And then when they communicate, they're communicating from within this freaking, like...
Yeah, I mean...
there's no lamp cascading light.
No.
Oh, lamp, there we go.
Yeah.
Cascading light on the whole situation. They're just sort of in the dark, and they're only shining this little light on this tiny little problem, and they can't freaking explain what's going on. You have to break them out with some sort of pattern interrupt.
Yes,
There's a lot of interesting gestures, you guys.
Yes, there's a lot of gestures.
I'm not enjoying the content.
The gestures are great.
You can't see Mike's gestures
Yeah.
the camera, but that's probably a good thing.
But I mean, you're spot on about that, though. The it's broken trance. Let's take this back now to the Mandel model of therapy, right? Like your client stuck in a labyrinth. Well, the exact same thing. The it's broken is the labyrinth that they're in.
Exactly.
And and technology typically is the minotaur. Like, really.
That's a smart comment.
So
this guy knows his stuff.
So
His Greek mythology.
yeah. So in all reality, the exact same way that we would help the therapist and the client
sitting on the wall of the labyrinth and shining a light towards the resources and the way out.
Right.
But can't do it for them.
But with with the it's broken trance, it's the exact same thing. But it's, hey, show me what's wrong.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
And we'll say stuff like that.
Yeah,
via email. It'd be like, can you show me? We have a phrase which is show, don't tell. But I changed it. It's not just show me, don't tell me. I need you to tell me, but I also need you to show me. Show me and tell me, not just tell me. And that's a great way to think. So when you're communicating with people in everyday life, those of you listening and watching, make sure you're clear with your communication. So if you catch yourself being in that it's broken trance, pattern interrupt your freaking self. Just, whoa, wait a second. Hey, bravo.
Yeah.
And they go, hey, if I was talking to somebody who has no clue what I know, how would I explain this from the beginning?
Yep.
That would be useful.
I think that it's interesting, too, because if somebody is in the it's broken trance, we can still calibrate that and try to figure out like what exactly is going on, because we need something to actually calibrate.
Yes.
And most people are unaware of this, but you're calibrating all the time. I mean, really.
Well, you can calibrate the fact that, and I'm being serious, like I know you probably, Mike's looking, he knows that there's a joke coming. You can calibrate that they're in the it's broken trance because of the way they're communicating.
Yes.
It doesn't line up with normal communication. There's clearly an issue. It's very vague. So you can calibrate, whether it's an email or whether it's a personal conversation, a phone call or semaphore, whatever, that's not the normal way people talk when they're sharing information. So that's your calibration.
Yeah, I mean, you have to have something to calibrate against, right? And even if you've never done hypnosis, you're doing this all the time anyways.
Yes.
Think of the last time, like I've got one, I'm not going to say his name, but I used to work for this guy who's an absolute scumbag.
Are you sure you're not
I'm not going to. No, I'm just kidding. Scare ya.
His name is. Oh, you used to work for.
So I used to work for this guy. Absolute slimeball. I had no clue about hypnosis or anything like this. I had just started my life coaching certification, but we didn't talk anything about calibration. It was just regular communication skills. but something about this guy was off. Something didn't feel right. Yes,
How many red flags can we hold up to represent the problems that this man gestured with?
Yes. Yeah. And so in all actuality, I was calibrating something because I knew something felt off, right? Even without extra flags.
More red flags. I still love that.
Do we have enough?
The fellow that sent these to us, we've used these so much. Thank you.
Yes, yeah. All right. And so, I had this guy, he made these promises to me. It was, work related. Geez, even more flags. Ultimately, though, I just knew something felt off, right? And that's
it's
because
unconscious.
Yeah, because calibration's always happening, and it's an unconscious process.
Well, let's say most of the time. You can bring it into your 7 plus or minus 2 bits of conscious awareness.
Right.
But most of the time it is unconscious until you make a realization and go, oh. And usually that happens after the fact. You go, that was a red flag. It was unconscious at the time.
Right.
But it can become conscious if you pay attention. You can make it conscious.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I like to think of it like when I'm noticing things, that's when I'm moving from the unconscious into the conscious, and that's helping me put stuff together. But all the information of how I put it together is all unconscious.
100%. Yeah. There's if you think about it, there's so much going on. There's data stream all around us.
Yep.
We imagine if we had to consciously process this stuff.
Right.
We'd go insane.
Yeah. But that's the thing, right? Is even if I consciously know what's happening, like I'm calibrating and I consciously know, what if I didn't, right? Because you had a similar situation where
my goodness, yes, I know exactly what you mean, and only because it's a note right here. All right, so I used to work as a stock analyst, as has come up many times on this podcast, and I had a boss at one point, and this guy, I don't even have enough red flags to represent what was going on. But let's just say he was an unethical slime ball, and it was quickly understood by many in the industry after the fact. But I picked up the red flags, and at one point I remember coming home and saying to my wife one night, I might have to resign tomorrow, and if I do, I hope I have your support. And she's like, what's going on? Right. And I explained, and it didn't happen. I think he had done something really slimy. I'm not going to get into it. Yeah. But
what was it?
Tell the story. I won't. Yeah. He just did something totally unethical involving client communication. In the stock market, you just don't do that stuff. Yeah. So I think thankfully didn't have to quit then, at least. Later, we have another episode where I talked about engineering my own exit, and that was freaking great. 9 months of severance pay for asking them to fire me.
Yeah. I think the technical term for that is that guy was a dick.
He was a dick. He was a dick, and a lot of people know it, but I didn't know it up front. So before he did anything that I was consciously aware of, hey, this guy's a dick, he was doing. Mike's pretending to adjust the camera. This is very funny. Don't touch any buttons.
Your microphone.
Before I knew that he was definitely a dick. How many times are we going to say dick on this podcast? Richard.
Dick.
Dick. I just had the feeling. So there was something off. The little smirk in his face, the little weird, there was weird stuff.
Right.
And I didn't consciously know it, and only later. Yeah. So the more you can tune your own ability, your oown spidey sense, your own caliber, trust your freaking intuition. I remember, to bring up my wife when we were home, she used to say, I just have a feeling. It's intuition. I'd go, oh, come on. But this is before I understood hypnosis. I say, this bullcrap. Yeah. There's no intuition. I just know. No. That was calibration. She was just smarter than me. Yeah. Probably still is. And knowing this stuff, it's intuition. Intuition is calibration.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
So that was it. Now, the opposite of that. Though. Okay. And this is where we're going to transition to the next phase of this podcast. Ooh. I don't know what that might be, but we were talking about this. There's an opposite of that coin. So you can have intuition around dicks, but then
As the actress said to the bishop.
You can also have intuition around everything is great. This is my people. As my buddy Pablo says, these are my people.
Yes.
So you can meet a this is my people kind of person, which is what happened when we freaking met. So I'll just quickly tell this story. I do mean quickly. Yes, don't worry. It won't be Ken Sweatman's story, Mike. We met Timothy, we got to be 3 years ago, right? You started as an MMHA student because you'd done your life coaching, all this other stuff. That you joined the best hypnosis training on the planet.
The best.
Quickly realized this is the best. And we started realizing, this guy's got some talent. We wanted to do some more blog writing. So we brought you in. We invited you to start writing. You were just writing blog posts for us. And it was really awesome. And then, we hang out in Zoom. We're having conversations. And we start slipping in a conversation about marketing and business. And I'm going, This is another Chris Thompson.
Oh.
Everybody's been asking, asking Mike all the time, how did you find a Chris Thompson in your business? I need a Chris Thompson. And we freaking found one. Basically, that was good. For the audio only people, that was a red flag that Timothy was. All right, so that's how I felt, at least. It was like, oh my goodness, I get to talk to someone who sees things the way I do, who has great ideas, who brings in lots of new great ideas, who is transparent, who I know I can trust. Like, that was my experience. I'm going to stop talking.
I guess I am pretty awesome.
Yeah, you are. Yeah.
But the absolute same thing happened as well. Like, that's why I invited you and Mike to my wedding, because you guys are freaking awesome.
That was fun.
It was so much fun. But I 100% agree with you. When we know that we are in good company, we just know it. And when we know things are about to go south, we know it unconsciously. So I really think for all of you, as Chris already said, make sure that you're practicing calibration. Really watch people. Allow your unconscious mind, your intuition, to be the guiding light, like a sailboat, towards the lamp. And make sure that you don't do inappropriate things with a pineapple.
Sail to the light. For pineapple, it made me think that it has this spiky, hard shell. Like, it could harm you on the outside. Oh, yeah. But, yes, it can. But once you cut through, you get to the sweetness.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, the pizza.
Yeah, when you peel, Hawaiian pizza. Yeah, I'm not going to tell the
No. Oh, no. You just brought it. Yeah.
If you want to watch the Joe Rogan Elon Musk interview, feel free. Enjoy it. They had a really good pizza.
Yeah, they did. Yeah. Well, I think now is about the time that we should bring the wizard himself back in.
Yeah, let's bring Mike back in, and we will. We'll wrap up shortly here. Here we go. Whoa! How did I get in this chair?
I'd like to thank the Academy.
Oh man. Okay. So
wait. First, I just have to say happy birthday. Couple of days late, weeks late, to Brian McDowell, my grade 6 friend who just turned 71.
Happy birthday, Brian McDowell.
Happy birthday, Brian McDowell.
Brian is awesome. Yeah. All right, let's talk, Mike.
What's this note?
About
very odd.
Yes, it is odd.
Over a lot in the past.
Yeah. So when we're talking a lot about calibration here and intuition, you have some stories from the past about people who have maybe acted inappropriately in business situations. Yeah. Do you have any care to share?
I used to be a nicer guy.
A nicer guy.
People walked all over me because I was a nice guy. And I trusted people initially and had business partners rip me off, an agency go bankrupt, lie that they were going bankrupt. It cost me thousands of dollars. Anyway, so it tends to make one a little jaded and cautious about humanity, especially my wife.
And yes, I know that.
After the crash with one business partner who wasted 2 years of my life, cost me thousands of dollars to get disconnected from him. And basically because, as the Irish say, he was a bastard. But the good news is, Chris comes along, and I've known him from teaching him jiu-jitsu and hypnosis and stuff. He gets this idea. He's going to work with me.
And there were some red flags in the background. Like, not red flags, not about me, but just
her
historical anchored.
Big handful.
Like in her mind.
Historical. Anyone who wants to work with me and no reason for it because he has a spectacular career as a stock analyst and all this stuff. Why does he want to do that? What does he want from you? And it took a couple of years for this guy to substantiate.
To prove myself, basically. Yeah.
Now we're back at the point of worrying about him. Timothy and I. but mostly for sexual reasons.
Oh, exactly.
Not there's anything wrong with it.
How do you even come up with this stuff?
IQ 162. Just brilliant. You can't teach this stuff.
So I guess it's more than just a claim of 100. It actually
but
manifests
let's
itself
back
in
it up
hilarity.
seriously.
Okay.
So she was calibrating, but she began to calibrate the truth that he's a good guy, everything's working well, and all her
Hang
fears
out
were
with good
unfounded.
people. Yeah.
Because just because someone wants to work with you does not mean they're going to wind up in frickin' prison for sexual corruption. With a pineapple.
There's a lot of weirdness in this episode.
There is, but I'm enjoying it. Now, look, you were different. We're calibrating unconsciously.
Exactly.
And you were consistent. You were consistently fair and above board, and that's why we became best friends, like we are with this guy, and like we are with MCA and Brian McDowell and other people.
I want to just also bring up the idea that we form beliefs mostly unconsciously too, right? So we're unconsciously calibrating, and without consciously analyzing these things, we form beliefs. Like anyone who wants to do business with Mike Mandel is going to screw him over. That would be an unconscious belief that is formed based on history of calibrating unconsciously and then realizing that person screwed you over or whatever. And it happens several times. So yeah, it makes sense. We form these beliefs and sometimes we have to challenge them. And we have talked about in prior podcasts some challenge questions around beliefs, like how do you know that's true, and how did you come to believe that?
Yeah.
And those are nice ways to ask a challenge question because they're not offensive. No one's going to go, they're not going to get all their back up. They may depends on how triggered they are or whatever.
Right.
But okay, so there's that. Now we're going to change gears here because we also said we were going to talk in this episode about hypnotizability. And so the entire podcast so far, other than the hilarity, has been about unconscious calibrations and how emotions are affected by beliefs. And well, that I really never got to. But if unconsciously we form beliefs, we also develop emotions generally unconsciously. We don't sit there and go, press the happy button, right? Or I'm going to be upset now. I'm pretending there's like
Press
a remote control.
Button, pull the happy lever, you know. I got a happy lever to pull. Oh, this stuff. Okay, we'll edit all this out.
Oh, my goodness.
Now, look, and listen, and you wanted to talk about...
well, okay, yes. Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. Change
No, you go ahead.
Bring some but you were talking about the eye roll test.
Well, yeah, we're shifting into hypnotizability discussion because there is this old school view that only a certain percentage of people are hypnotizable, right?
Okay.
And in fact, I think Andrew Huberman was on Joe Rogan. Well, he's off and on, and they talk about the Spiegel eye roll test, which may have some validity, may have some usefulness, but we never use any of these things, and we don't like the idea. While we're a big fan of him, we're not a big fan of the idea that, you can do this one thing with someone's eyes and test them to see if they're a good hypnotic subject.
Let me address this because for those of you who don't know, the Spiegel eye roll test is basically the more sclera you can show under the iris of your eye with your eyes rolled up means the better hypnotic subject you are. And I put this in the same category that I demonstrate every architecture of hypnosis class, that we are told in the literature over and over and over again, watch it, I'm about to destroy another bugbear here. We're told that if you roll your eyes up under closed lids, keep your eyes rolled up, you can't open your eyes. And I demonstrate this, get all the guys in the class to stand up, roll their eyes up, and none of them can open their eyes no matter how hard they try. And they said, but you know what? Weirdly, you sit down, let's get the women to stand up, and you do the same thing. Women can open their eyes because of a genetic difference, and all the women go and open their eyes. And I said, oh, sorry, I had it backwards. It's the men who can open them. They all stand up, roll their eyes as high as they can, and they can all open their eyes now. It's only happening because of suggestion. This whole thing about the Spiegel eye test, I see it as essentially pointless, and it's just my opinion, but it's a damn good one. Here's why this is unimportant. Chris and I and Timothy, we go into hypnosis believing everyone's a good subject. And what people are leaving out is operator attitude, which is crucial in hypnosis. As the late, great Tad James said, your client will not actualize what the operator does not believe to be true. So if you're saying, okay, your eyes are going to stick shut, they're going to be really stuck shut now. It's not going to happen.
No.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah, the
There's
upspeak.
no conviction behind it. There's no congruence. There is no confidence. You're missing the Mandel triangle. I think the Spiegel eye roll test is vastly overrated, absolutely unnecessary. I just hypnotize people. I don't bother with all this stuff.
Yeah.
How many bad subjects do I get now? None.
Zero.
None. Of course, I only hypnotize myself. Because
and your cat.
and only in certain circumstances.
And to tie it all together, we're going to...
Doesn't mean anything.
We're going to tie this all together here and point out that if all of this unconscious stuff is happening and our Our emotions are generated unconsciously. Our beliefs are generated unconsciously most of the time. We're calibrating unconsciously most of the time. Our attention is being directed a lot of the time unconsciously. We're going in and out of freaking trance all the time. Right? And we know there's good neuroscience behind this too. We'll talk about that in another video. But
yes, there is.
So if that's the case, how is it that people can do this hypnosis stuff to themselves all the time, but only a certain number of people are good hypnotic subjects?
It's nonsensical.
It's because they're not considering, again, that psychodynamic loop, what's happening with the operator, everything that you just said. I just want to say Mike was right.
This nonsensical thing about, I can't be hypnotized. It's like, I was on stage and he couldn't hypnotize me, as though it's a cause and effect model.
Yeah.
It's the same as someone saying, I took an art class for oil painting, and that teacher couldn't make me paint a picture. I just sat there. He's not a good art teacher.
How dare they?
Yeah.
I sat and didn't paint anything. He's a crap teacher. Duh. Hey, this is starting to turn into the Spunky and Beezer show.
Yeah, the only show where
Spunky and Beezer, the only show where
you're Spunky and you're Beezer.
Now look, how are we going to close this up?
Well, we're going to switch back. Timothy's going to take my seat and give you the empowering question. You can do the MetaFive.
Right.
Then we'll say thanks again, and we'll do a couple more videos and go to lunch. All right, Timothy, come on back.
All right, Mr. September
Yes.
Man himself. Would you please give us the empowering question of the day?
I would love to. How will you calibrate anyone and everyone starting today and have an absolute blast making my life even better as I do it now?
Nice, very nice. I will give you the metaphor of Miss Maley, my grade 2 teacher, was a lovely elderly woman. And I learned at that point that some excuses just don't work. I'd been writing, we had a pencil back in those days, a damn pencil, and it was really poor writing. And Miss Maley called me to the front. She said, Mike, it's true. Said, your writing is very, very messy. Here's what my brain generated on the fly. Oh, yeah, I had an egg salad sandwich for lunch. And I said, I was eating some very greasy foods, and I just can't hold the pen. It's slippery. She said, that's a terrible excuse. It's the worst excuse I've heard. I never used it again. Let that metaphor transform your life.
Oh, God. Well,
all right.
Thanks for listening. This has been Brain Software, episode 241. Head over to MikeMandelHypnosis.com for all of your hypnotic needs and PickThose.com for all things related to growing your people-helping business. So thanks again.
And
good night!